Welcome back to Wrestling Ruined Our Marriage podcast. We are here for a recap of Monday Night Raw, August 30th, 2021 edition.
Yep.
My name is Tanner, and this here is Cammie.
Hi, guys.
And here we go. All right, so the show started with Damian Priest coming out, calling Bobby Lashley a coward for his actions. Then he issues an open challenge shortly after for his title, which brings Sheamus out to the ring in his lovely mask they're never going to get away from. He even has a Celtic warrior branded on there now.
I hate the mask. It's got to go.
Shortly after that, Drew McIntyre interrupts, and he wants to fight tonight. He's ready for it.
Yep. Which I will say, I do think it's kind of cool that they had somebody like Drew McIntyre challenge for Damian Priest's title. I like that. It's different.
Not really. Bobby Lashley comes out a little bit later to get mad about, being called a coward. MVP is also out with him, and the crowd is chanting Goldberg the entire time, even though they boo Goldberg every time he comes on TV. Interesting dynamic. Lashley wants a match now with Damian Priest. He wants that title. He wants 2 titles, he says, which brings RK Bro to the ring. If you can't tell, pretty much the entire damn Raw roster was out in the ring besides the Divas match. Anybody that has a big name on Raw was in the first segment. Between all the chaos, it pretty much ends up that we get RK Bro versus Lashley and MVP for the Tag Team Championship, and we have a triple threat match with Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest later on in the show as well.
Yep.
Those are the matches that pretty much get set up, ready to go, and that's what throws everything out there.
It was just so chaotic.
Yeah, kind of chaotic to get the show started. The rest of the show kind of continued that way. Same complaint that I've had. I don't know why we're putting Bobby Lashley in a tag team picture. I don't know why we're putting Bobby Lashley in the U.S. Championship picture. I don't know why Bobby Lashley is not just finding people for his championship. Give him some damn people to fight and give him some big names he can start defending against.
Right.
And I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Not that anybody wants to see McIntyre versus Lashley again, but they obviously have no idea where they're going direction-wise. Orton's a tag champion. He probably would have been somebody good for Lashley. Mm-hmm. Priest is the U.S. champion. He's not quite ready for that notoriety, I guess, to be the face of the show yet.
He's ready for that kind of a title run yet.
Yeah, so I don't know what they don't know what they're doing apparently. But anyways,
it was chaotic.
That's where it all ends up. Shortly after they get those matches made, we have Rhea Ripley,
Yeah, Rhea Ripley.
with Nikki ASH now in her corner, going against Baszler. And we also have Nia Jax in her corner. So Nia Jax pretty much has been saying, throughout this episode of this show, this Raw, that she is going to destroy everybody in her path. Mm-hmm. And that started with this match. So Rhea wins, and Nia Jax comes in and beats up everybody besides Baszler. Baszler's really frustrated. She lost the match, obviously. Nia just goes on a complete tear throughout everybody else on there.
Yeah. Which
shortly thereafter leads to the new Viking Raiders promo. They finally started pushing these guys again. I don't know that they're the guys to push. I want you to push tag teams. Good on you for finally doing something. So they cut a promo in the back, red light in the background, talking about how they're going to raid, and they're really trying to get this new chant. They started raid over. Hasn't quite taken yet. If they put on some good matches, kind of like they did, they had some good moves in the match against Jinder and Veer. If they keep on some good matches like that, maybe we can get that crowd chanting, getting their raid thing going on there. They do win. They pick up the win over Jinder Mahal and Veer, and look pretty decent doing it. They're pretty athletic for some big men, which most of them guys are. I mean, I couldn't do the flips and stuff that they do at their size.
Nope, I couldn't either. And I will say, it's kind of interesting that they took the win over Jinder Mahal and Veer because they were kind of getting the push themselves. So.
Yeah. Jinder had a nice little battle there with McIntyre. I don't know. Maybe this is Veer's chance to start getting a name. I don't even know the other guy's name. They're just kind of, Mahal's
buddies.
Ponzi guys. But either way. Next up would have been the triple threat match for the U.S. Championship where you had Priest, the mask-wearing Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. And is his sword Angelica? think it's Angelica is the sweet sword. I don't know where they're going with the sword. It's not like you can use it on somebody. I don't know if you want a bunch of little kids running around with swords saying they're Drew McIntyre, but he is not letting that thing go, man. He is taking that sword to the end. So, white noise from the second rope. This should not be a move that people are kicking out of. Sheamus is a big boy, and when he climbing up to the second rope with somebody on his back and drops them, this should be something that nobody really kicks out of, especially on a Raw. This should be a finisher to me. One of his top finishers, I think, is what it should evolve into. Maybe have a good pay-per-view match where it kicks out, but people kicking out of that move on Monday Night Raw every week, they need to make that more of a coveted move in my mind. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Priest ends up winning that, and they try and get Priest even more over. I don't know if the crowd, they like McIntyre, but it's kind of like, when The Rock went back and he raised Roman Reigns' hands after the Royal Rumble and they both got booed out of the stadium. They're trying to get, Priest is already pretty over with the fans, almost as much as McIntyre. McIntyre's had the championship, he's got a little bit more pull, but they do this little, we're both good guy handshake at the end to try and, get the crowd to chant for Priest. They're already there, you don't need to do that. Just keep Priest on the same run. Mm-hmm. That follows up by Goldberg.
Yeah, he cut a promo. It was in front of the gym or a shop or something like that. And
he's got a pretty good, my memory's right, I think he has a pretty good garage that he's got all kinds of, the old Goldberg monster truck. He's got a bunch of, he's a big Ford guy if I remember correctly.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's not on Jay Leno style, but he's got a pretty good garage of all kinds of different, car toys.
Yeah, but anyway, he had talked about how his son is super sore, and he's not going after
man up, son.
He's not going after the championship anymore. He's going after the soul of Bobby Lashley and
taking souls.
I don't know. It's kind of like it's going to be a little painful. It's going to be a little painful to watch again.
Yeah, and they're pretty much, I'm guessing, just holding Lashley hostage up until Goldberg comes back and they do this all over again and hopefully maybe put on a good match the second time. Lackluster for the last one, but this followed up by your comical Reggie walking through the park trying to avoid everybody. You have R-Truth and the other guy that always tries to get the 24/7 title. They're pretty much dressed up like Pluto the dog, and R-Truth's got a nice little blonde wig, nice little decor. They do some parkour up around the park, run around. Reggie escapes again. He's on this, almost like a Nikki ASH kick where he's like, oh, I used to, be in the slums, and now here I am. I watch my back all the time. Just good, good story. Parkour on the gym and bail.
Yeah.
R-Truth's always comedy.
R-Truth. I like him a lot. He's pretty funny.
More for the kid style on this, but, I wish I could do some of that parkour stuff, too. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Next up, this one kind of threw me off a little bit. You have Eva Marie on social media all week saying you don't even know what's going to happen. This match is going to be great. We have this awesome thing planned. Big surprise. Cannot wait for you guys to check out Monday Night Raw because it's going to be me and the big double D drop. And nothing happened.
It's the same old when it comes to Eva Marie. Even before she was,
big double D
return,
smashes her before the match. And
but even before she returned, she wasn't able to ever compete. It was always a wardrobe malfunction, or she got injured, or something like that. And why pick up where you left off? It just doesn't do her any favors because the crowd didn't like her in the first place. So why are you doing the same old storyline? The only difference is she has pink hair and not red hair.
Yeah. She did was outside of character or out of character podcast recently. And it was just last week, and she was talking about how anybody that, is ever in a storyline with her, it just turns to gold. The crowd gets behind it, and maybe she's delusional. I don't know. I mean, Dewdrop is getting over. It's not because of Eva Marie, though. Anyways, Eva Marie got smashed.
Everyone loves her. Or hates her, that everyone will just love who she's against.
It's possible. So Eva Marie lives out the dream of getting smashed by double D's, and
wrestling ruined our marriage.
She's out of there, and Big Double D will be back again next week. We'll see how she ends up rolling with that and how they take that storyline. Next up, you have a Charlotte promo talking about pretty much her match with Nia Jax. Pretty much Alexa Bliss
Wasn't on.
I always call her Alexa Bliss, but all that thick ass Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss was not on last week. She had Lily.
She went out and said hi. We just wanted to say hi, and then it was like, okay, well, you said hi, so bye.
They kind of did it like, if you're going to push Nia Jax to be the beast, why didn't you do it last week in San Diego where she's from, man? Why'd you do it this week? You're
a week late.
What do they call that? Day late, dollar short?
Yep.
Kind of on that roll right now. Whatever. Anyways, good on them for pushing Nia, whatever. Side note, I told you a while back, so Charlotte's been posting all kinds of photos on all the social media stuff. And they don't look a damn thing like Charlotte. They airbrush the shit out of her face. They make it look all smooth. Charlotte's got some cheekbones on there. She's got, pretty muscular body. It's kind of a long body, I guess is the way to say it. And finally, they put some on. She posted some this week, too. And the big storyline all over social media was Charlotte posts photos that are unrecognizable. It's because they ain't her, man. They airbrush the shit out of her. She takes all these photos. You got to start using your face on the photos. Like, you can do filters and everything else, but she does. They airbrush it so bad you can't even tell it's her. Her face is a complete different shape. Everything. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, random side note there.
Face-tuned.
Yeah, essentially.
Catfish.
So she cuts a nice little promo over there saying, she's going to beat up Nia. Nia's already cut all the promos on her. And then we fast forward to Karrion Kross, still the knight in shiny armor.
I don't know if that's a knight in shining armor or more of like the Dom.
Yeah, no, I told you, it's Pulp Fiction style. So he's going up against Humberto Carrillo, who I guess is still on the roster somehow, and he smashes him in a damn hurry. Yeah. And they are back to the intense Karrion Kross.
Are they going to bring Scarlett, I feel like that would really get the crowd over as well, get rid of the mask and bring Scarlett out with them.
You can just ditch him and bring her, and they'd probably still go over just as good. And I don't know that he's really doing much. He needs, we talked about last week, he needs a complete overhaul, on his character. Worked for NXT. You can still kind of keep some concepts. It's not working. The mask ain't working. Him being this big intimidating factor. You have big intimidating factors. You're trying to push Omos into that, which nobody's buying. You have Goldberg, who's too old for it. You have Bobby Lashley that nobody's working on. You have the exact same character in 5 different forms here, and nobody's buying it on here. You know where they're buying it at? Brock Lesnar. SmackDown. That's your big intimidating character. You don't have him on Raw right now. Change the character, the way they're going. Change your storylines up a bit. He's probably the biggest one that needs to be changed right now. You can keep, some kind of TikTok, whatever he does with his little,
clock,
the fucking hourglass thing. But something's got to change. I'm not sure what the solution is. I'm not creative. I just know it is not working, and they have to be seeing that it's not working. He's not getting cheers or boos. He's walking out, and everybody's just like.
That was like a really quiet crowd. People would come out, and it was just.
Yeah, that's the reaction.
Granted, yeah, it's they're lacking a lot of that character development there, but you still got to cheer.
I don't know if you're lacking character development. Shit, he was one of the main guys in NXT. You had the character there.
Well, they're lacking the push, the creative push.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's not going. So, anyways, let's fast forward. And we're going right into the Orton and Riddle promo in the back. And I say Riddle like this because I don't know why Riddle always has the duck lips, and anytime he talks, he is, hey, bro. How you doing, bro? Randy. I'm good at scooting. So, don't know why I got that, but that was my main note is the whole damn time that guy talks, he has the duck lips. They cut a promo in the back. Randy just thinks he's the dumbest thing walking is what pretty much sums up to him in the promo. But he's a try-hard, good-heart kid. So that sets up the promo. Next match up is Charlotte versus Nia Jax. It was not a great match. It was really...
It kind of got catty. It was messy, and then it looked like they were actually exchanging some real slaps there for a little bit.
They'll slap here, they'll slap there.
A little shit-talking, and...
Match was not that good. Voice cracked right there. The match was not that good at all, but Nia Jax had a pretty strong... she slammed Charlotte down. That was a really strong finish, and Nia Jax picks up a win over the Queen. I was kind of surprised that they gave her the win, and not like a complete cheating win. I mean, it was fairly clean. She picked her ass up, slammed her down. Wasn't a great match. They zoomed in. Maybe they kind of pushed Nia Jax. Again, now you had all the big scary guys that aren't working. Now you're going to push Nia Jax in the big scary girl one. It kind of reminded me of, and, congrats on your retirement, Mrs. Awesome Kong, who just retired.
Yeah.
Maybe they put her in this big scary Nia Jax role. Her and Shayna split again, which they already had done, but now you have her and bam, maybe she's this big intimidating lady. Maybe it works for her. I don't know, but you have to figure out where, if it's working for her, are they going to plug, Alexa Bliss in there?
Well, yeah, because they're kind of all over the place. One week it's, Nia Jax with Charlotte Flair, who steals the win from her, and then you kind of botch that and forget about it, and then, okay, hi, Alexa Bliss, like, going out there, making it known that she wants the championship.
I don't mind this at all because...
I do. I think there's no direction.
So I am on the other side of the page. She says no direction. I'm glad. The whole crowd, everybody's been saying, let's push new people, let's get new people up on there, let's get new stories going. Even if Alexa Bliss is still in the picture and you have all three of them going for the title, you have Nia, who's this big intimidating, you build her up to be this big intimidating squash everybody. Then you have Charlotte, who is the queen, the best thing walking, and then you have Alexa Bliss with all her mind games. You get all three of those going, you can create some good stuff.
But will they? Probably not.
I mean, they're on the right track on there, so I don't dislike that part as much as she does because, I'm not a big Nia fan, but I'm a fan of let's see some new stuff. Let's push her and see what she can do. If she can't do anything, drop her back down. It was a good start to something new, a little bit new storyline for the females. Same storyline for the males, but new for the females. Let's see if we can get something going with Nia Jax there. She's trying to get her mic skills going. She's a good... I don't know if she's a good, but she's a heel, so we'll see how it goes. You got, basically three heels, even though they all love Alexa. They're both all three bad guys. Next up, you have Mr. Johnny Drip Drip, the king of the moistness.
Yeah.
He wants to, he can't get his hands on The Miz. The Miz is a no-show today. So he challenges Omos, and he wants to take on one of the biggest guys in there to prove, his worth. Omos, who has his own entrance music and his own video package now, comes out. He obviously has AJ Styles in his corner. Drip Drip gets smashed. He gets beat up in a hurry. Again, crowd's not really buying Omos yet. I don't know what the plan is there. Just because they're a big guy does not mean they're a good wrestler. But he gets smashed. It's a really sloppy match. There's a part where Mr. Johnny Drip Drip jumps over the stairs, and I think he's supposed to run into a clothesline, but he lands weird, trips, falls on his own, almost has to pick him up and then clothesline him. It seemed like I don't know if he was intoxicated or what, but
I don't think he was intoxicated.
He was off. Johnny Drip Drip was off. He didn't look good in the promo. Maybe he wasn't intoxicated. Something was off with him. From the promo, he didn't look good at all. They zoomed in on him. His face didn't look good. His promo skills kind of sucked. And the match was awful. And I'm not just saying like a boring match. Like, there was so many bad landings, kind of botched moves. You're working with a brand new guy, so he's trying to kind of bring Omos on and trying to figure out, okay, how do I work with this big guy? He's kind of slower. It was terrible.
Well, I kind of wonder, though. They said everything at Raw was very last minute thrown together.
Who's they?
Well, there were reports on Twitter that were saying that Vince McMahon was kind of pitching a fit right before the show and threw out all the ideas that they had for the show, and so it was kind of starting from scratch, and then they were already on the air by the time they got plans. So I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, it kind of makes you wonder, was that just a last minute match thrown together? And
even if it was a last minute match thrown together, these guys call matches as they go. As they're in the ring, they're saying, hey, I'm going to grab you, I'm going to throw you. They're talking the whole time. And Mr. John Morrison is the vet. He's been in the business for a long time. He should be able to call the match. And with somebody like that, you should know kind of their limitations. He's a big-ass, slow, tall dude. So do things within your repertoire, but even the most basic things, jumping out of the ring, awful. Jumping over stairs, land weird. Getting in the ring, you can't get anything going. It was completely off the whole time. It did nothing for either of the two guys that they were trying to push in the match. Right after you get Woods versus AJ Styles. The biggest takeaway from me, so Woods ends up tapping to AJ Styles. I think that's okay, granted, yeah, probably should happen. Have no idea where Kofi is. Woods has been on his
What
own
happened to
for
Kofi?
a while now. Kofi's kind of disappeared. But anyways, Woods taps out. You still get AJ with the victory. Almost gets the victory.
Yeah.
Whatever. Final finisher up on there. You get RK Bro. And they are versing Lashley with MVP. So, first thought on this one is you kind of guess the finish. So it's either got to be, neither of these guys can lose. You have RK Bro, who's basically the face of your show right now. Everybody's tuning in to see them. They were the open of the show, basically the open of the show. Priest was out there too, and they closed out the show. The crowd is the loudest for RK Bro. That's probably the merch that you're selling, even though hand-drawn worm, snake, whatever. But anyways, that's your Raw draw is RK Bro right now. That's who's bringing everybody in. You can't have him lose clean. Then you have Lashley, who's supposed to be this big dominant champion, taking out everybody, Goldberg, everybody before him. You can't have him lose. So it's either going to be a DQ of some sort with an interruption that's going to, guide you to your next big matches, or MVP's losing. He's the only one that nobody gives a damn if he loses. Except for, Bobby Lashley maybe gets pissed off. It's like, you're a crappy partner. But if you're going all the way back, he still wears the Hurt Business. That was the best thing Lashley had going for him. Push them.
Yeah, they shouldn't have broke them up. They shouldn't have, because now where do you see the other two? You don't see them.
Yeah, so
they've been lost.
Right. So pretty much
There's
this
Kofi
match
somewhere.
They start the match at one point. Omos and AJ Styles both interfere, but they keep the match going. The referee, there's one part where the referee's looking right at him when Omos is like grabbing his head and shaking it. I
didn't see anything.
Yeah, so it's clean right in front of the ref. There's no disqualification for some reason. The match goes on. Riddle ends up pinning MVP for the win. He hits him with a move, pins him for the win. After the match, Riddle's celebrating. Lashley comes in, hits him with a pretty good spear. And Orton hits Lashley with a RKO. Yeah. So your dominant champ gets taken out by a tag team champ. And that wraps up the show. That is your Monday night.
Chaotic. It was chaotic. I don't know. It was hard to get through for me. This is probably one of the first times in a while that I was like, I'm going to have to pause it and I'll come back.
Yep. Took us a while to get through this guy.
Took a while. I don't understand
Follow
the direction.
us soon. We are going to be doing the SmackDown.
SmackDown was awesome.
Recap.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Thanks.
Bye.